Hello. I hope you all are having an amazing day. And happy Thanksgiving to my Canadian friends. I hope you are stuffed with turkey and all the sides. We are just now starting to think about Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving plans. As always, let me know if you can hear me and see me and all those good things. I saw someone hoping that their internet cooperates, and I'm hoping mine will do the same. Oh no, I'm competing with football. I'm sorry. Being from Texas, and especially the Dallas area, I know that football is a big deal. I'm not big into football, but I know I have family that would choose football over my live stream, which is fine. Everyone can choose what they want. Yay! Hi Jessica, welcome to your first live stream. Thanks for being here. And Franz. Yay! All right, y'all can hear me. Awesome. Sounds a little hollow. Anna's first live stream too. So many are making it to your first live stream. Let me know if that's because of the time or the day. I know that usually I'm streaming either on a Monday. No, I don't think I've ever streamed on a Monday. On a morning or evening on a Friday. So let me know if it's the day that's better or if it's the time that's better. I can't always do the time that's best for every single person just because the world is all different time zones, but I always like to hear what's working and what's not working. So awesome. Yay, I see so many new names and old names, and I'm so glad you're here. Yay! Awesome. Okay, looks like everything's working. And today, you can probably see by the live stream, by the live stream title, we are making Uncle Knick-Knack. And if you're not quite sure who Uncle Knick-Knack is and what he has to do with the Addams family, he is mentioned in the first movie. I'm not quite sure if he's mentioned anywhere else. But the scene goes, they're trying to find something to donate to an auction. So Morticia is pulling things out of the closet, looking for donations, and she says, Uncle Knick-Knack's winter wardrobe. And as you can see on my screen right here, I put a screenshot. I don't want to play the whole scene because I don't want to get a copyright strike because it is copyrighted material. But I took a screenshot so you can see what we're making. And it's a little dark because it's the Addams Family movie, but Morticia is pulling things out of the closet and she says, Uncle Knick-Knack's winter wardrobe, and it's obviously a canvas bag full of clothing. They read the tag, Uncle Knick-Knack's winter wardrobe, throw it on the ground. Then they say, Uncle Knick-Knack's summer wardrobe on the next one, throw it on the ground. And then finally they pull out a third bag that says, Uncle Knick-Knack, and then you can tell it's a little bit more body shaped, so there's definitely a body in there. And just recently I was thinking, I wonder if the joke, so I always thought the joke was Uncle Knick-Knack was stored with his clothes in the same way his clothes were stored. But then I was wondering, what if the canvas bags are actually Uncle Knick-Knack's winter wardrobe? He lives in canvas bags. So the bag is his winter wardrobe and the other bag is his summer wardrobe, and they just move him from bag to bag. Is that the joke, or am I reading too much into it? Hello? My goodness. That's awesome. So many new subscribers too. Thank y'all for being here. So let me know if you have seen the scene with Uncle Knick-Knack, if you're familiar with it. It's one of my favorite scenes. It's just one of those really funny Addams humor type things. Like, nobody laughs. There's not a laugh track. They just move past it. But it's one of the things I repeat in my head, like if I'm pulling things out of my closet, like Uncle Knick-Knack's winter wardrobe, Uncle Knick-Knack's summer wardrobe, and, anyway. Yes, Morticia did deliver that perfectly. Okay, so the only wardrobe I have is this piece right here. And then I pulled out Uncle Fester because obviously we're not making a doll for Uncle Knick-Knack because he, you're not going to see him. So that's a lot of work to put into something you're not going to actually see. But as you can see, the wardrobe I have is just a little bit too small. I did think about putting Uncle Knick-Knack underneath the arch, underneath the stairs, but I don't know if I want to like build a cabinet in there. I was thinking maybe I could squish him in here, but let me show you. This actually has separation in the middle and a couple shelves, and this is just really nicely put together. It's a really nice piece of furniture, so I kind of don't want to destroy it to put body bags inside of it. So this one won't work, but I was thinking either I can put it underneath this, I can put Uncle Knick-Knack underneath the stairs, or I could build a whole nother wardrobe similar to this one, because this one looks a lot like, if you can see here behind Lurch, it looks a lot like this one, but I just have to make it a little bit bigger. I always assumed he wore the canvas sacks. So it seems like people saw it both ways. It was either it was him plus his clothes, or it was him and he switched body bags every now and then. I'm not making him a doll. I am going to make the shape of a person, and so that the bag is the shape of a person. That's my plan, at least. Oh, the finger trap would be hard. It's so tiny. That would be hard to do. Okay, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is show you the supplies I have to make this, because it's actually a pretty simple project. So even if you're not making an Addams Family house, but you want to add Uncle Knick-Knack for whatever reason, it's pretty simple supplies, pretty simple project that you could put in your house. And I'm still keeping Uncle Fester out so I can get about the right size of a human being in 12th scale. Although, you can imagine it would be, he's about 6 inches tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's 5.5, 6 inches tall, which is about the right size for a person in 1/12 scale. But it's always nice if you have a doll to have the doll there so you can make sure that it's looking like the body shape that you want. Make a bigger wardrobe? Okay. That's what I was kind of thinking too. Yeah, I'll probably make it similar. I didn't make this one, but I really like the aging and the coloring on it. It doesn't have it has what I spent on it, but it doesn't have like a maker. So I don't know if this was like a handmade item, but I really like the finish on it. So I might make something similar with a similar finish. So, okay. So what I have to start creating for the inside of the wardrobe bags, I have, this is quilt batting. So it's like sheets of quilt batting. So it's just like this, but you don't have to use something like this. You can use like old clothing that you have and you just cut it down to the right size. You can use cotton to stuff it. You can use all sorts of different things. I'm just using this because it's pretty easy to cut out the shape and just replicate it over and over again. had a thought for Debbie too. You could make a pile of ash with white shoes near the electric chair. I do want to make a pile of ash for Debbie. I put her picture in there in the last video, but I do think that would be funny. And of course, if I make Debbie eventually, not this month, eventually down the line, whenever I have time, I might make Pubert as well, but he'll have to maybe live in the hallway because there's no room for any more rooms. Okay, so I have the quilt batting for the inside of the wardrobe bags. Here, hold on. Well, I'll leave that up for a second because I'll show you. This is just muslin. This is going to be the material for the canvas bag right here. And I might have to do 2 layers because it's really see-through. Although if the interior of the bags is the same cream color, I think it'll be okay. So I'm just going to use this muslin, and then I'm going to use chalk pastels to age it a bit to make it look like it should. And then I don't have any like faux leather material for the straps that's just plain, but I have this material. And as you can see, it has like this carved pattern into it. But I think if I cut it straight, like you'll still be able to see the pattern, but I think it should work. So this has like I actually don't know. Like, look, I got this whole thing. Always look in the discount bin. I got this whole thing for $1, and I have used this material so many times. Hold on. I have to cut through it. I actually had 2 of these, so that's why I'm opening up a new one. Where am I? Not fabric scissors. Oh, there. All right, so this material is, you see I've cut into the corner of it. It has kind of a cotton backing, and then it just has this like pressed shiny front that kind of has a leathery feel, but it's not leather. It's like, I don't know what to call it. Pleather? Aw, sorry, Anastasia. Yes, remnant bins are fantastic, and that's where I get all my really small prints. I just go check every time. It doesn't matter if I need something specifically or not. If they have a small print and it's a good price, I go ahead and grab it. So then, because it's kind of hard to find small prints that work in 12th scale. Another thing that's hard to see in this picture, they have little clasps on the leather straps, and so I have these Christmas hooks. These are great to purchase at the dollar store. If you don't want to go and buy like a big thing of wire, these are very easy to bend. So they don't, like some wire is not easy to bend at all, and it's hard to get it to do what you want it to do. But these are short little bits. You can just pull one out, and they're easy to bend. And I think these are great for miniatures. So coming up pretty soon, they're going to have like Christmas sections in dollar stores. Grab some cheap little ornament hooks. They're perfect for all sorts of things. All right. I am going to turn off. There we go. Turn off that picture real quick so that we can see a little bit better. And I think we are going to go ahead and get started with the garment bags. There we go. Oh, an old wallet. That's a good idea. Or I've heard some people use old gloves. Like if you go to the to a resale shop and they have old gloves, you can cut those up. All right. So the first thing we're going to have to do is cut the shape. I'm horrible at cutting my fabric. I just cut whatever shape I need straight out of the fabric. But what we want to do is get a basic clothing shape. Let me find a pin that will work. Try not to mark on Fester. Got an easy cutter after watching your video. It was only $20, but it hurts my hand when I cut popsicle sticks. Should I buy a more expensive one? So I've had that question before with the easy cutter. There are some popsicle sticks that cut really, really easily. Sometimes it depends on the brand of popsicle stick, but sometimes I take it really slow and easy and turn the popsicle stick over. Do I have a popsicle stick around here? I don't. But I cut it on one side and then flip the popsicle stick over and then cut the other half. And then that way it doesn't hurt your hand as much trying to cut all the way through the stick. But even if you have a thicker stick, like one of the jumbo sticks, you can kind of flip it back and forth a couple times. And then once it gets to the center, it'll just snap through the popsicle stick. So I hope that helps, because yeah, it can sometimes have issues with that. Okay. Fabric scissors. I even cleaned my desk and I'm still looking around. I am still using OBS for my streaming software, but it's not my favorite. It's free, so that's helpful. But it does have its issues. So I wouldn't say that I don't suggest OBS, because there's a lot of people who have a lot of success with it, but it's given me a few issues, and I've kind of thought about looking into some other... Oh, there's a bug. Oh. I thought we were done with the fruit flies, but they're back for one more go around before the winter, I guess. What else was I saying? Oh, so I do use OBS, but there's other ones out there that are just as good or better. So I'm just going to do a basic shape like this, because this is just going to be for the first garment bag. And it doesn't have to be the shape of a person, because typically clothes aren't a shape of a person. They're kind of the shoulder shape and then like this. I'm sure y'all have seen a garment bag. And I'm just going to cut out, I don't know, a few of these. All right, so let me know in the comments if y'all are working on any Halloween projects. I always think about working on seasonal projects like during the season that's going on, and I give up because I know that I'm not going to finish it before the season ends. But there's so many of you that start your seasonal project like 2 months before the season, and I admire that, because you'll actually get to enjoy your project during that time. Sean's been looking into Prism Live Studio. I'd be interested to hear if you like that, because I don't know. OBS is nice sometimes. Sometimes. Yeah, there's a lot of stores that are already putting out all sorts of Christmas stuff. They typically skip over Thanksgiving. It's Halloween, and then Christmas, and then Valentine's all of a sudden. So I don't want to make these too thick, because I want to be able to slump them. I want them to crumple really well. If they're too thick and squishy, they're going to kind of act like a pillow where they will bounce back. And so, I don't know, 3 or 4 layers, maybe just 3 layers should be enough, because I also want to kind of glue them in certain places and squish them, and I want it to look like really loose, not too poofy. Okay, let's see. I'm missing some of the projects. My craft room reorganizing is a nightmare. Does that count? Yes. Determined to finish my clematis vine before decorating the porch for Halloween. Vines are hard. They are. Yeah, I could probably do multiple layers at the same time. That would be smart. I'll probably do that for the second one. Christmas presents. Turquoise necklace set for a friend. Oh, that sounds pretty. Baking pies. Yum. Are you baking mini pies or life-size pies? Sorry, I'm missing some life-size Jason Voorhees for a window. Oh my goodness. Making soap? I missed that one. Do you have any plans for an Addams grand finale on Halloween? So it probably won't be as grand as last year's, where like I had the graveyard scene and put everything together. That was, I'm going to fold it like I think it was Rachel suggested here, just to go a little faster. So this is going to be my first wardrobe bag, and then I'll cut out 3 for the second wardrobe bag. But my idea is to do like a review of my project and kind of share my thoughts on what a 10-year project looks like, what a 10-year project felt like, and, you know, my thoughts along the way. And so that may not be as exciting as a grand finale would be, but I don't know why I'm cutting this way. Hold on. Let me cut these real quick. But I think it's a, you know, an interesting, maybe I think it would be an interesting perspective on working on something for 10 years and finally finishing it up, and, you know, kind of the struggles of continuing on, and would I do a project this large again? And so some of those type questions, I don't know if I'll ask myself the questions or what. So many projects. Oh no, your projector broke. I'm sorry. I agree. Keep going with it. Having a blast learning to work with wood and clay. I make cakes, apples, and cauliflower. Super fun. I'm always amazed when people can make miniature food. It is so detailed, and there's so many different textures, and you have to make the clay look glossy sometimes and matte sometimes, and miniature food is not the easiest thing to do. So it always impresses me. Will there be a new prompt this month? No, there will be a new prompt in November. Because this is all Addams Family all month in October, so everything has kind of been pushed off until November. So there will be a new Captain's Quarters video in November, and there will be a new prompt video in November. I'm not quite sure when in November yet, but I've fell behind on those, I feel like, but in hopes that I can push through and finish up the Addams Family. That would be cool and informative for those starting a large project. I think it would be, because there were for sure times I wasn't sure that this day or this month would ever come to where it would be finished. I would sit there and stare at it and think about everything I had to do and how long every single thing was taking. And I don't want to go through it all now because I want to save that for the video, but I hope it would be informative, and also kind of do a review and maybe go back and pick out my favorite projects and some of my posts from my original blog and talk through that, and maybe some of the biggest questions that I've gotten from people. And yeah, so I don't know, something like that. Okay, so I've got my muslin, I've got my insert for the clothing here. So let me pop that image back up. Parts of it actually look folded. Like it looks like it was maybe a tarp folded over clothes. So it doesn't really have seams at the edges. It just kind of looks like they maybe had like fabric that they put down, laid down the clothes, and just kind of wrapped it all up and then put straps around it. Is that what y'all are seeing too? Have you ever thought about doing anything involving the Munsters? Yes. And I have the Munsters characters. They had a time when they were selling Munsters action figures, and they were extremely detailed and just really beautifully done. And I went ahead, and that was my Christmas present from my husband. And I said, I want all of them. Just get all the characters. There's less Munsters characters than there are Addams Family characters, but they're a little bit larger than 12 scale. So I would be afraid to do the whole house because it would just be huge. It'd be bigger than the Addams Family house, and probably less rooms. So I think I might just do the living room with maybe the side with the staircase and maybe like the flippy telephone booth. So just kind of like a couple rooms, and then have the characters around in there. Although I'd love to do Grandpapa's, it's not Grandpapa's. I'm stuck in the Addams, Grandpa's laboratory in the basement. So many things to think of. Okay, so y'all agree with me. It looks like it's canvas. Oh, it looks like it was rolled. I just started watching your videos a couple weeks ago, and they're so inspiring. Thank you. I'm working on a much smaller scale than you, but some of your cardboard techniques are really useful. That's awesome. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I watched this whole clip here. I looked for zippers because I was actually thinking I was going to make some kind of zipper, but I couldn't see any zippers. So I think I'm just going to try and fold it, and then we're going to make the straps that go around it. That fly is bugging me. Okay, so let's get this in here. Another reason, I haven't really shared much about this. Another reason I may have bugs going on in here is we ended up getting some praying mantises as pets this summer. And the whole keeping a bug that eats other bugs is interesting. So that does sometimes bring in some unwanted bugs that get loose in here. And I really like the praying mantises, not so big on the bugs that the praying mantises want to eat. But anyway, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna, hold on, keep taking that image away and bringing it back. It looks like it's maybe folded on top, and I know it doesn't have to exactly be like this. It doesn't have to exactly match, but it looks like maybe it's folded like this. Like so. And you know what I think I want to do here is I want to fold up some aluminum foil, and I'm going to glue all of these together so that they're not moving around. I'm going to put some aluminum foil in here so that I can bend, and it will kind of keep its shape. Any tips for starting your first mini house? I think my first tip is to keep it small, and because you'll learn a lot in that whatever first project. Wouldn't go this scale. That's going to be one of my biggest tips in my Addams Family final video. Hold on, this is going to be a little loud. I would start small. The reason for that being is you will learn so much by doing a smaller project first and finishing it. So you'll learn wallpapering, you'll learn finishing the outside, you'll learn accessories, you'll learn furniture, you'll learn whether or not you want dolls in it. But starting out with something this big, it always felt like it was on top of me. Like I could never catch up with this project. And I felt like if I had started with something smaller, I would have gotten a lot more satisfaction out of that project earlier on and maybe not hit so many frustrations. And there are things in this project that I see, I'm sure nobody else sees it, but things that I see that I'm like, I wish I hadn't done that. But this was my first project, so I was experimenting and trying new techniques. And that's why I always suggest starting out with something much smaller, room box, or a small house with just a few rooms, so you can really start experimenting and trying new things. And then you can move to something bigger like this because you'll really kind of get a hang for what you personally as an artist like. Yes, there are 3 bags. So I'm making 2 now, and then I will make one for Uncle Knick-Knack himself. So I'm going to cut this. I am going to glue this all together. And since the last live stream, I have started using Fabri-Tac. Yes to Fabri-Tac. I really like this. I've been trying to think of like a way to describe Fabri-Tac, and it's kind of like cold hot glue. And that's not completely accurate, but it grabs pretty quick like hot glue, but it's not hot. It does have a little bit of fumes, so if you're fume sensitive, you have to kind of be careful of that. But it sticks to everything, and it sticks fast, and I've really liked it. It also makes like little strings, so you have to kind of be careful of that. But so far I've been enjoying my Fabri-Tac experience, and I keep talking about making a glue video, which I will, and I kind of want to make a chart where I outline all the properties and what types of glues are good for what in my experience. There are some charts out there that already exist for that purpose, but anyway. But so far I've been enjoying Fabri-Tac, and it just seems to stick to almost everything. I raised some caterpillars for months too. I'm kind of excited because there's a chance my death's head hawk moss will emerge for Halloween this year. Well, that's cool. I'll have to look those up. It's been really interesting to research all the different things that are happening with the mantises, like the molting and all that kind of stuff. It's just been an interesting research project for me and the kids. Let's see. Oh, you're saying it has a zipper? It's the same color. Let's see. I think I'm going to try it with the belt. Oops. That glue is coming out. I'm just going to try it with the belts for now, because I'm not quite sure once everything's shoved into a cabinet if you'll even be able to see zipper details. So I'm kind of taking the lazy way out, I guess, and I'm skipping the zipper. But I will tell you the way I was thinking about making it. I was thinking about making really long, thin strips of polymer clay, and I was going to use the polymer clay from Arteza because that clay is the one that I have seen is the most bendable, and you can bend it almost in half and it doesn't break. I have a video where I make like this treasure chest, and so I kind of experiment with the clay, and I've just found it to be very, very bendable overall. And so I'd probably use Arteza. I'd make a really long, thin strip, like thinner than, like really thin strip, and then I would just take my X-Acto knife and make cuts both ways going down that, and then I would just glue it on top of the bag. So if you do want to make a zipper of some sort, that's how I was thinking about going about it. Yeah, so the first two definitely have fabric, and then the last one has the, okay. Image is just going to keep going up and down and up and down. So I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to tack it down with the Fabri-Tac. Cindy says, have you made Kitty yet? I may have missed him. Love your channel. You go, girl. I have not made Kitty, and the reason for that was I had found a few lions that I was interested in using, but I really wanted Kitty to come down the staircase. And so what I want to do is save up for a miniature animal artist to create Kitty for me. And so miniature animal artists typically charge a lot, which they should, because trying to make a small animal that's fuzzy and has realistic textures and realistic face is extremely difficult. So all I'm doing here is trying to fold this over so it looks somewhat like in the picture here. So I want to save up for that. So Kitty will definitely be a future edition, but I want to make sure it looks like he's coming down the stairs, because that's where I think of Kitty the most, is that scene where he comes down the stairs and then they say something or he gets spooked, and then they rewind the film and Kitty backs. I mean, it's very obvious. They just rewound the film. Kitty backs up the stairs away from whatever's scaring him. Okay, so I'm just going to start kind of gluing this over. I might kind of push these points in a little bit. Hi, tiny stuff. 3D print the zipper. That would still be so tiny. I'm not sure I've ever seen a working miniature zipper, but doesn't mean it's not out there. There are some artisans who make amazing things in miniature, and they'll work on one piece for months and months to get it to function. I'm going off screen here. Sorry. Can you 3D print Kitty? Maybe. It might have to be a custom file, so I would kind of have to download a lion, and then I would have to go in and adjust the print file so that it looked like it was walking down the stairs. But then it still wouldn't have like the lion fur, and it still wouldn't have quite the right texture. So that's something that I've known from the beginning that I would have been really interested in trying to push in the piece here to see what I think. It's not perfect, but we're doing a nice, easy breezy project today. And like I said, he'll be kind of stuffed into either under the stairs or in a cabinet. So I'll probably put a little bit more time and focus into Uncle Knick-Knack himself. Oops, got some glue coming through, but that'll add to the aging of the piece here. I'll put a little bit more time and focus into Uncle Knick-Knack because if anyone's outside of the cabinet, it will be Uncle Knick-Knack and not one of the wardrobe pieces. Let's see. Could you use embroidery thread to look like a zipper? Possibly. I think if you, maybe if you did a really small braid and then maybe Mod Podged over it so it had just like the slightest sheen and wouldn't come unraveled, you could definitely use embroidery thread as a zipper. It's a really good idea, actually. It's the duct tape of miniatures. Okay, so right now all I'm doing is just pushing the fabric underneath. So, and I'm not too worried about being messy with it because it doesn't look like they worried about being messy with it. So just going with the flow. And you can't really see the bottom, but I imagine it's kind of tucked in. So I'm just kind of folding it up like so, and then a lot of the shape will come when I start pushing bits and pieces in and then wrap it with the straps. Crochet a simple chain stitch with a super tiny needle with 2 strands of embroidery thread. I'll have to get my daughter to do that. My daughter can crochet. I cannot. We'll see if she can do that. My sister's been teaching her. For some reason, crochet and I never got along. I thought the duct tape of miniatures was swearing. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm making potions and witchy crafts, so I'm very busy. Yes, that is a busy month for potions in October. All right, so, no, I don't like this. I'm gonna have to undo this. I think I'm gonna fold it behind. Kind of looked, it was giving me diaper feels there. Diaper feels. Okay, we're gonna ignore I said that. We are going to fold this behind instead. And it's okay if the fabric gets a little bit messy because we're gonna purposely mess it up anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna fold it behind instead. All right, there we go. We won't even see that part. Fold that under, fold that over. Okay. I might just make one body bag for now, and then I can always make another one because they're going to be exactly the same. We'll just see how much time we have. So we have a little bit of glue showing through, but that's okay because these are not going to be perfectly clean, so that's all right. My cousin tried to teach me how to knit, and I finally suggested I use the knitting needles for self-defense. I'm aging a basswood coffin I got at Michael's and turning it into a witchy cabinet or a spooky cabinet of curiosities, making about half the minis going in. Bought a few items like the half test tubes. That sounds cool. Are you going to sell them or are they going into a project? Diaper feels. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let me grab this material. So I still have my stack of this for the other one, and I might go back and do that if we still have time, but it will be the same as this one. And let me start cutting off a piece of this so we can start creating our straps. And I don't think I need a picture of what the straps need to look like. I'm probably going to cut them a little skinnier than 1/4 inch. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring anything. Okay. So I'm just cutting a strip like this. I guess I could also use this other side, but it's definitely darker and it doesn't have kind of the leathery look. So this, what I would do is kind of push in, and I know you can't hear it very well, but I'm pushing in on the aluminum foil, and doing that will kind of help this piece keep its shape, having that piece of aluminum foil in there. So I'm going to move it up a little bit, like so. Jewelry? Oh, that would work. Thank you for showing the thimbles on your Q&A. I found on eBay some cheap thimble domes, and now I'm making miniature scenes on them. Oh, wow. If you get a chance, I'd love to see a picture of that, if you share it anywhere online. Okay, so we've got our first strap here. Put him right there. Let's get another one. I think I'm only going to put 2. Oop, that's a little bit too thick. I think I'm only going to put 2 of them on the clothing bags, and then I might put 3 on Uncle Knick-Knack because he's going to be quite a bit bigger. It's got to fit a whole Uncle Knick-Knack in there. Making a haunted house out of cardboard boxes, and it's only halfway done, but I did make a wreath out of a pool noodle. Oh, that's cool. I think I've seen those before. Just gonna pretend like I didn't cut that incorrectly. All right, so we'll cut the straps for Uncle Knick-Knack in a bit. We'll go ahead and get started with these. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Paula. Trying to get my kids ready for their first day back at school. Love the fabric. It's perfect. Well, I hope they have a good day. I understand that gotta re-prep things. A little bit different this year, for sure. Oh, yes. Please post it Wednesday. That would be great. Okay. So, I've got my... this is a Christmas ornament hook. And I did get my pliers out. And what I want to do is just kind of make a very, I don't know, loose buckle type look. It doesn't have to be functional. I just want it to have the appearance of a buckle. And so I'm just kind of forming it. Should I zoom in a little bit? Forming this into a rectangle shape, making sure I have corners that work. And I may have to redo it, but we'll try it out and see how it goes. Have another one. Yes, on Wednesdays we have a work table Wednesday on the Facebook group, and I just put a post up in the morning, and then people post whatever's on their work table. It doesn't have to be a finished project. You can be in the middle of working on something. It doesn't even have to be miniatures, just something creative that you've been working on, because we can learn. The thing about miniatures is you can learn techniques from nearly every single other art form, and can really, oops, let's see. So anyway, yeah, on Wednesdays you can go post whatever you're working on, and I try my best to respond to everybody, but it's not always on Wednesday. If I have some crazy stuff going on Wednesday, sometimes I won't get to respond to it until maybe Thursday or Friday. So this is the shape I'm starting with. We'll see if that's a good shape or if I need to change it. But flip this over. Well, we'll use the one that's already on the bag here. And so, like I said, it's not gonna look perfect, but it'll just kind of slip the, what am I trying to say, strap into the metal, and we'll just glue it down. So it's not like you can unstrap it. There's no reason to open it or anything, but something like this. So once I'm happy with it, I think I'm going to squish it down just a little bit more. It's just a little bit too big. So I just squished it sideways. Buckles for Uncle Knick-Knack. That's a tongue twister. Buckles for Uncle Knick-Knack. Had to scrap my work table idea. I'm working on my collab project with Daniela while listening to your stream. I can't wait to see that. Yeah, I know not everyone's on Facebook, which is kind of a bummer, but Facebook makes it's the easiest way to share photos with each other is on Facebook. They just make it super easy. All right, so I'm going to move this down. And so I put it on differently this time. I think it still works. Let's see, I could also fold this. Oh, here we go. I'm just playing around with it. I don't really have anything specific in mind. I'm just kind of playing, seeing what happens. There we go. That's kind of how I had it on before. So just a little embellishment, a little flash of metal, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it definitely looks like a buckle, and so when people look at it, they'll think a buckle, and that's what we want. So I'm gonna glue this one down, and then I'll just have to make another one. To bend corners to be sharper, you can place one set of pliers where you want the bend to begin, and then place the other pliers right besides the first set, and then hold one still and bend with the other set. Okay, I might try that. I have never really been good with wire. I've taken a wire bending class as far as like miniatures. Like we made a miniature bed frame using wires, and that was really fun, but it didn't so much focus on the bending with pliers, but we had a wire jig that we used, and that was really fun to try out and figure out. Okay, so the other thing with this Fabri-Tac is it does like to grab onto your fingers really well. And anywhere I get some like glue residue, I'm just going to take some pastel, some chalk pastel, and go over that, and you'll be none the wiser. The other thing is we need to make a tag for sure, because there's a tag in the scene. So I'm going to clip off maybe that much, like so, and clip it into a tag type shape. So we've got a tiny little tag, and I did not get my embroidery thread. So let me go grab my embroidery thread real quick and we'll put it all together. Right now I'm working on making cheap pumpkins from dollar store into scary, gross looking ones from Monster Tutorials channel. That sounds good. I'll have to go look at what they have at the dollar store. I think it was at Joann's, and I saw these crafty pumpkins. They were $30. They were like the ones where you can like carve into it, but they're fake pumpkins so you can keep it. And $30. Wow. Had a crazy fangirl moment when I saw the video of Square to Spare putting together your stove with the tiny magnets. Fun to see others get the same fascination of the magnets clicking to close. That is really fast, really satisfying when the magnets click. I love that part. Okay, let me grab my embroidery thread. I recently cleaned a little bit, so I knew where it was. For once. Just going to cut off a little bit. I don't want this whole 6 strands of embroidery thread. I do want, oops, sorry, hit the microphone. Keep my tag. I do want to glue a little bit on the back here, just so that these don't go out of place. Okay, so I do want some glue there, keeping that intact. So we've got our first piece there, and I'm not going to worry about writing any names or anything. If anything, I'll write a name on the tag for Uncle Knick-Knack, but for these I'm just going to leave them plain. Much obsessing over glue. Does making a pumpkin patch in Animal Crossing count? Definitely. I haven't been in Animal Crossing in a while. I'm sure there's all sorts of fun Halloween goodness going on over there that I'm missing out. Daniela Minnie made an Animal Crossing, she made an Animal Crossing house all out of polymer clay. It turned out really cute. Okay, so now I just have one strand of this embroidery thread. I'm going to find something to poke it through. These are the worst tweezers in the world. Okay, kind of see it. All right. So I have this piece coming through for the tag, and I think I'm just going to glue the tag on top of it and let it be glued to the whole piece so that the tag's not flopping around, because these little things are the type of miniatures that just never hang the way you want them to hang, and so it's just better to make them behave with glue. A Ghostbusters playhouse. That sounds awesome. Is that a real thing? I wish I had had that as a kid. I love Ghostbusters. I still do. Ghostbusters scene would be really fun with like all the ectoplasm like dripping everywhere. Use some kind of glow in the dark something. Okay, so I'm just put glue on the back of the tag. And then glue it where I want it. Oh, that didn't stay put. And then snip off the extra. Okay. Doesn't want to behave. That's fine. We'll work it out. A similar saying for parenting. Oh my. Okay. Here we go. Now you shall behave. I will it. Therefore you should do it. Okay. I don't want it straight up and down. The Fabri-Tac does give you a little bit of working time, but it's not like a ton of working time. More working time than hot glue. Okay, so we have the snaps up here, or the strap. We've got the tag. It's bugging me that this piece is sticking out here. Certain things bug me, and then certain things don't. Each artist has their own things that bother them and things that they don't mind. Okay, so this bottom part, I'm going to squish it in again, and again I'm squishing that aluminum foil that's in there. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here so that when it wraps around the back, it takes hold. And then put some glue on the back of the strap. There we go. I want it a little bit tighter. So I'm just going to squish and pull. There we go. Not too tight, but tight enough to where you can, there's just a slight indent. So it does look like the straps are holding something in. Tag is so cute. It's the easiest part. Sometimes the easiest parts are the cutest. They give it just like a little bit of detail. I did a antique store front for my mom, and I put little tags on everything, and that ended up being my favorite part. And it's just little pieces of paper stuck to little bits of string glued onto everything. Which is the easiest part of the project, but they made it a antique store because everything had a little tag with a price. So I really like that part. Okay, where's the rest of the wire? Did I clip it and it go flying? That happens a lot. Okay. I don't know if you're talking about bats. I don't know if y'all have seen like the videos of like baby bats and they're feeding them with little bottles. They're so cute. I don't know if bats are an animal that make good pets or not, but they're so cute. Okay. So I'm trying to use the 2-plier method. That did work a little bit better. I think this flat part right here is a good measurement for, I don't think I did that quite right like you were describing. I don't know if I have the right pliers either. That could be part of the problem. I'm just making kind of the same square shape that I did before, and then it just overlaps on one side of the square. Well, it went together easier. Again, I'm not quite sure I did it the right way, but it worked a little bit better than the first time I did it. I probably just need to take like some jewelry classes, some wire jewelry classes to get better at working with wire. Not a fan of bats. Hi, Steph. They must be directly beside each other. Okay. I'm gonna clip off the ends. And then I have to make 2 more buckles for Uncle Knick-Knack, so I'll try it again. Let's see. If it's like this, then that would match the upper strap. Like so. It's a little bit big. Let me see if I can squish it a little bit more. I have a cat. He's great usually. It's a matter of balancing things, keeping them out of his reach when he wants attention. He has tried to swipe things off. Flying foxes look like canines. All right, let me see. Doesn't want to cut. Okay. See if this is a little bit better. My hands are getting shaky now. Oh, I can't fit the thing in there. That's what the problem is. Okay, so pull that on there. I think that fits just a little bit better. Oh, it's backwards. All that and it's backwards. Bats equal flappy sky puppies. Uncle Knick-Knack is not really a character that you see. He is living in the Addams family closet, and they pull him out with his wardrobe. All right, I think we're just gonna go with this, because this is the bottom buckle. Most likely you won't see it very much. So again, I'm gonna cut it off here. And I'm going to add some glue to glue it down, and then we have 1 wardrobe bag finished. Which is great. And it only took us an hour. Which means I probably will not make the other bag, but it will be exactly the same. The only thing that I might do different is just kind of put the tag in a different spot, and I'll probably age it a little bit different. So let me zoom back out. So here's our little wardrobe bag. Let me pop the image back up for those of you just joining us. This is what we are creating right here. So Lurch and Morticia and Grandmama are pulling out wardrobe bags. And so this is either Uncle Knick-Knack's winter or summer wardrobe. And I might kind of let everything dry and then kind of glue some of these wingy pieces that are sticking out. Just kind of glue those back. But there you go. There's 1. But because I put the aluminum foil in there, it makes it easier for me to make these little... If I want to have it like scrunched up in the corner, it keeps its shape a little bit better than if it's just fabric. If it's just fabric, it wants to spring back, and so you can't get that very lumpy look or the lumpy slumpy look that you're looking for. So I probably won't put him into any permanent positions until I'm done. I'm going to go ahead and glue this because this little wing back here is bugging me. There we go. And I think we'll take a little bit. He could sit at Grandmama's table. That would be good. I looked for a hanger, Emily, and it didn't have a hanger. It looks like they're just big bundles that were in the cabinet. So let me grab my chalk pastels and then we will age it. But if you wanted to make something like this for your dollhouse, then I'm sure it would be super easy to take one of these, bend it into a hanger shape, and kind of just shove it into this folded area, and you could hang it up in your dollhouse. So if you wanted something like this, maybe like mysterious shaped things hanging in your dollhouse, just you could make a hanger and hang it up in there. But I'm not adding one of those for now just because it wasn't in the image. But here are my chalk pastels. These are shaved chalk pastels, so they come in the sticks. They're not anything special, but I like to shave them down. I feel like I get more pigment on my brush if they are shaved into like little chalky messes. Yes, Uncle Knick-Knack is in one of the bags. This is his clothing bag. We're going to make Uncle Knick-Knack's bag next, which would be pretty similar, but maybe a little bit different. So when I'm aging with chalk pastel, I want to start with a little bit of a lighter color. I don't want to go straight in with like a black or anything, because I just kind of want to, you can always add more, but you want to start with less because you can't really take it away, especially on fabric. There's really no getting this out once it's on there. So I'm just lightly putting my brush into the chalk pastel, and I do kind of knock it off on the side if I don't want as much pigment. And then just add it here and there. And it will start to build up to look like an old piece of cloth that's been in a wardrobe for years. Years and years. I'm gonna grab something to drink. My cup is covered in condensation. Spaceballs. Be fun to recreate. Oh yeah, you could make it look like dry cleaning. That would be an interesting detail. If you were doing some kind of scene with a story that someone just came back from the dry cleaners, add like a bit of dry cleaning slumped over the chair or something. Oh, I see. They have put out several Monty Python figs in the past. Just do a Holy Grail diorama. My goodness, I have seen that movie. There's so many movies that would be so fun to recreate, just because the set designers and the whole idea behind the movie is just so out there. Okay, so I've got a little bit, I mean, the picture doesn't look like it's just like soiled too bad, just a little bit. So I don't want to go too heavy on the aging. I will do a little bit. Actually, I've had some of the black chalk pastel fall out before I even opened it. So I will put a little bit, just the tiniest bit. I like to age with at least 2 colors. I feel like it gives a variation in the aging, because if you just do one color, it looks like it just had one age element happen to it. So maybe it just got dirty or it just got wet and moldy. But when you want something to look really old, you want to use a few different colors, because then it looks like several different elements have been at work in aging your miniature. And so that's why I at least try to use 2 aging colors, if not more. But I do want to be a little bit light-handed on this because it doesn't look super, super duper soiled in the movie. So I think I'll stop right there for his, we'll say it's his winter wardrobe, because I think that's the first one they mention. Y'all are talking about Monty Python. I'm working on a castle from a video game just now. Do spend ages running around the game looking at details. I definitely would. I've thought about doing a Zelda scene at some point. I've always played Legend of Zelda even when I was a kid, and I would tell my students, because I was still teaching when Breath of the Wild came out. My students were talking about Breath of the Wild, Zelda, playing it, and I was like, I played video games before you could look up the answers online, and they were, what? So anyway, I love Zelda, played Breath of the Wild, and I would run around looking at details. I really wish you could have gone into the castle, into Ganon's castle a little bit more, but you really couldn't. A lot of it was blocked off. So I was really sad about that. But I'm hoping in Breath of the Wild 2, which is coming out soon, that they let you see more. So, but I do want to do a Zelda project at some point. All right. So now we are going to make Uncle Knick-Knack to go with his wardrobe. And I'm going to make his body out of foil. So I'm going to be scrunching it. So this might be a little bit loud with the foil sounds. But I'm going to scrunch it into a body shape, which is why I needed Uncle Fester. Where did he go? There he is. So that I can get a pretty good body shape. I imagine Uncle Knick-Knack's probably about the same build as Uncle Fester. I'm not quite sure, but we're just going to start scrunching. I played computer games when they were only text. I remember playing one of those. I'm a little bit younger than Pong, but I remember playing my parents' Pong game that they had. Been freezing screenshots of Knives Out. Okay, so I will tell you, if you are going to use foil to do anything in art, get the cheapest, thinnest foil you can. Because if you get the really nice, thick stuff, it's going to cut your hands to shreds. It's just you're gonna get foil cuts, which are maybe worse than paper cuts. But anyway, I would use the cheapest foil, and it'll save you a few hand cuts. Sometimes you can still get cuts in your hands, but it's a lot better than the nice stuff. I learned that the hard way. We played E.T. on Atari. I don't think was Pong Atari? I don't know. Okay, so that's not quite big enough. So let me get some more foil. Okay, so filling out the body, making sure there's a neck, because I didn't take a screenshot of this, but in the video or in the film, you can definitely see there's a very distinct head shape. So we want to make sure that we get that. So he just needs a little bit more for feet. Uncle Knick-Knack's, he's got some shoulders. It's okay. Mat board cuts. Oh yeah. It's almost as bad as cardboard cuts. Alright. So I'm just going to give him some little feet shapes. And another thing you can do to avoid constantly squishing it with your hands is to squish it against a surface, like so. And then you won't have as many chances for your hands getting cut. Bye, Vanessa. Thanks for joining. Hi, Tiny Nina. Okay. So he's a little bit taller. That's okay. We'll squish him down just a little bit. But we also have the ability to bend him in some different shapes. So I think that's okay. I think maybe this is his front. It's kind of, Uncle Knick-Knack's a weird shape. That's okay. Maybe that's why he didn't come out very often. Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty close. Making some boxes for wands for my nieces and kept wondering how I was getting cuts on my knuckles. I was pressing down with my fists. Yeah. You got to try and save the hands as much as possible. Okay. So I think it's going to be, I wish I had done a screenshot for Uncle Knick-Knack as well, but I think what I'm going to be doing is maybe, because I want it to be the same idea, that it was a tarp that they folded around and then kind of cinched with the straps. So, okay, thank you, Uncle Fester. You can go hang out somewhere else so you don't get craft supplies on you. Clean this up a little bit. All right, so move this over and I will get some more of this muslin out. Try to figure out what I want before I cut the pieces off. Bye, Marty. His shape is beef jerky. Oh, thank you, Tracy. So I think I want it to be pretty sleek. And then I've got to glue. I think I'm going to have to wrap him twice because I can see the aluminum foil. So I'm going to have to wrap him once with fabric so that you can't see through him, and then I'll have to make the bag that goes around him. So let me cut out a shape that's going to be his first layer. Say, if Paula's still here, don't watch me cut fabric, Paula. Probably make you cringe. It's not a pretty sight. Okay. Put a layer of quilt. I was thinking about quilt batting, but I think it might be too thick. He's already pretty thick, and I don't want to get him too much thicker. I'm thinking I can help his neck area here by using this. I want to give him just a little bit more of a defined neck, especially before I cover him with something. That helps out, gives him a little bit more shoulders as well. Because I can still shape him once he's covered with fabric, but I want to make sure he's has as much shape as I want him to have. All right. So now I'm going to roll him in fabric. Yeah, we'll probably slump him a little bit like you said. Stitched him into an old drop cloth. Okay. So I want it to be pretty close to his body, so I'm going to add quite a bit of glue. It's going to come through the fabric for sure, but that's okay. I'm going to cut any excess off. And then start adding glue on these other sides and wrap him up. Oh, I could store him in the Iron Maiden. It's a good idea. He wouldn't mind. He's Uncle Knick-Knack. He wouldn't mind. Okay. Add some more glue. And then tightly wrap him. And all this is making a kind of a boundary, I guess, so that we don't see the foil through the final bag. So I'm just wrapping him up as tightly as I can. I could have also done masking tape. That might have worked as well. I made a Majora's Mask cake for my son's birthday. That's awesome. That'd be a really colorful cake. His head looks like E.T. A little bit. I'm always waiting for new videos. Really good work. I love. Oh, thank you. Belt needs a large old-fashioned buckle to lock him up tight. Yeah, maybe Uncle Knick-Knack is into fashion, and he wants a really nice buckle for his final resting bag. Is that a thing? His final resting bag. Because it's not his final resting place, obviously. They took him out of the cabinet. Cut off any excess down here. Now this looks really rough and not super great, but it'll get covered up by the final piece. So I'm just kind of not worrying about it. Just glue down the edges. Mod Podge fabric strips on him. Yeah, if I had more time, that would have been a good one too. Masking tape, then Mod Podging strips. I don't know if that would be super stretchy, or like if I wanted to change his position. I'm hoping this fabric will stretch if I want to bend the aluminum foil. So it'll be kind of an experiment. If I put a cowboy belt buckle on him, be reminiscent of the fact that I live in Texas, maybe. An Addams family house in Texas. Uncle Knick-Knack has a belt buckle. My husband just showed me a picture of how to shroud a body for natural burial. Handy reference for Halloween miniatures there. Actually, I've found the channel Ask a Mortician very fascinating. And she shows how they do like natural burials and stuff. Very, very fascinating. And she shows that. She shows like a natural burial like how they do it, because she runs a funeral home. Anyway, interesting channel if any of that type of stuff interests you at all. And a lot of good information. I mean, people have to deal with things like that all the time, and she kind of talks about it when not a lot of people talk about it. So yeah. If If you just found this channel, saw this, you may think it's a class on wrapping your ex. Well, hopefully not. Yeah, I do wonder what YouTube thinks of my dialogue sometimes, and I try to carefully pick my words because I don't want to be demonetized for simply making Uncle Knick-Knack. So yeah. And then, the Addams Family does use some items that I don't think YouTube would find extremely excited for me to say the words on YouTube, so yes, yeah, definitely check out Ask a Mortician if you haven't yet. I liked the TV show Oddities as well. Maybe someday, when I'm long gone, some of my miniatures will show up in an oddity shop and be like, I don't know why someone made this, but now it's here. Never know. Okay, so now we have to make the bag part, which hopefully will go pretty easily. It's not glued super well, but once he has the shroud or the bag over him, he should be good. Uncle Knick-Knack is the quiet uncle. I haven't read her books, but I think it would be interesting. Okay. I don't know why I struggle so hard on cutting fabric. Why? Okay. Now, I think we'll just have time to finish one wardrobe and Uncle Knick-Knack himself, and then I will do the second wardrobe bundle off camera, and then hopefully in one of the upcoming Addams videos sometime this month, I'll video placing him in his final resting bag, wherever that ends up. Okay, so I'm thinking if I fold it similarly to this, that would make sense, because I'm guessing maybe I should turn it like this. It makes more sense. Because whoever bundled up the wardrobe possibly also bundled up Uncle Knick-Knack. So let's see if I'm just going to kind of practice folding and see what happens here. Whoever was looking up the scene, did Uncle Knick-Knack have a strap around this area? I don't want to say it out loud for reasons, but let me know where the straps were on Uncle Knick-Knack, if you could look that up real quick. If anyone has the ability to do that, let me know where the straps go, if they were just around the chest area. Your struggle with cutting fabric is because of your scissors. I highly recommend Fiskars with a flat blade on the bottom. I will look for that. I used to have really nice fabric scissors, and then my very sweet husband offered to sharpen them for me, and they didn't make it through that event. And so now I just have my little ones that I would use to take with me. And so I definitely need to invest in some new ones. So I will look for the ones with the flat blade. Strap was around chest. Okay. Looked like he had a bag over his head, not... Okay. Shoulders, knees, ankles. Awesome. Okay. Good. Shoulders, knees, ankles. Gotta remember that. Shoulders, knees, ankles. Okay, I think I like how this look ended up. Not with this part right here, but how it's just very tight right here. I think that looked pretty accurate to how he looked on the screen. Okay, shoulders, hips, shins. Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to start with putting glue around the head and then gluing the fabric, and then I will fold from there. That's what I'm going to do, because this is the most important part to make sure that looks correct. So let's go for it. Looks like I'm putting a lot, but it's a very thin layer. And I'm just going to put it in around the indent area and a little on the face so that it sticks pretty closely to the shape that I want it to stick to. So once I have the glue on, I'm just going to kind of pull and press the fabric around that area. And he does have like a bump here, but since it's aluminum foil, I can just push his bump back in. Just push it back in. It's fine. Uncle Knick-Knack doesn't mind. And I'm gonna press on some of those weird shapes. I think I liked how the first layer looked, but maybe we can pull on some of that a little bit. Put this in here. There's no glue on this side. Yep. Yep, we're live right now. Yeah, I decided to do a live on Sunday. Addams family version of head, shoulders, knees, and toes. If you need things sharpened, try asking the butcher at your supermarket. They're usually able to send out metal scissors to their sharpening service. Well, that's interesting. I know every now and then Joann's has a scissor sharpening service, and you can take your easy cutter there also, but I wouldn't have thought about the butcher. All right, so got a fairly decent head shape. There's going to be these folds here. These folds aren't glued to anything, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue in here because I still want that fabric to be as close to the body as possible. And there's another fold here. So basically just taking my time, pushing down these folds, making this part look as best as possible, and then I can worry about the rest of the body after that. This is an awesome time. Well, I used to do just morning and evening, and that was mainly because of my kids' school schedules, and it kind of revolved around that. But I may try and, because this works for a lot of other people that aren't able to make the morning or evening, I may try and throw in every now and then this afternoon time. Okay. All right. So there we go. We have a shape. Now I can start kind of pulling the fabric to see what I like to make the folds. And again, I want it to be pretty close to the shape. Adding that fabric underneath bulked him up so much. So kind of squeezing in that aluminum foil a little bit more. I think I'm just gonna do like I did with the wardrobe and just kind of pull the fabric around him, kind of like he was wrapped up in a tarp type of situation. Reminds me of your creepy Dr. Pinderschloss. Yeah, I made her a while ago, and that was, she's one of my favorite characters too. She just, not that she's like a great person or anything, obviously, but just that actress did such a good job just making Dr. Pinderschloss so evil. All right, so we got this part, and I'm liking that so far. And of course, when I do the straps, I'll kind of push in on the foil again like I did the first time. Yes, I mean, whoever was asking, this is Fabri-Tac. And it takes hold really quickly. So if you ever get frustrated with tacky glue taking forever to set up, you may like Fabri-Tac a little bit better. I just do like to warn people that it has a slight fumey smell, because I know a lot of people are very sensitive to fumes. I'm pretty sensitive to fumes, but it doesn't really bother me too much. I think when I first started using it, it really got to me, but I guess I've gotten used to it. Addams Family 2 comes out next year. I know. I'm so excited. And apparently there's a contest to get your voice on the Addams Family. So I think I'm going to cut all this extra fabric out right here because I don't want it to be too bulky. You can go, I don't remember what the website is called, but something like give your voice to the Addams Family or your voice on the Addams Family or something like that. And I'm like, I have to try. I have to go on and try to see if I can get my voice on the Addams Family. Like, wouldn't that be like just the most awesome thing? I'm not thinking that I'll win or anything, but that's such a cool contest to have, to include people that are Addams Family fans. Like, you can go in and record a voice recording and possibly be an Addams Family member. Okay, so I think cutting out that extra fabric helped a lot. Let me cut this part out. So it's going to cover all of that. Like so. Okay, so I'm just going to put glue all over his front here. Okay. Oh. Okay. So now I'm just going to pull as tight as I can. And these folds are also kind of helping with the neck situation here. Oh, and I got too much glue coming through, but again, I think Uncle Knick-Knack's is probably, his fabric's the worst for wear, so I'm okay with him getting a little soggy. I don't know what to say. They should let you because you made a house for them. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Just to be a part of the Addams Family media in any way would be really cool. All right. Now, I don't like this part right here, so hopefully I can kind of squish that down. And I need to get rid of all this down here. And maybe you just kind of fold it up, kind of like we did the other one. Sorry, fabric. Okay. And again, I don't feel like I need all this like fabric back here, so it's just causing more bulk than there needs to be. Maybe cut this out here. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just cutting. Probably not a good way to look at it, not having a plan, but that's all right. Thank you, Rachel. I always thought voice acting was such a fascinating field. But I don't know. It would just be so cool. All right, I'm going to put some here. Add this up here. So now we have his little feet tucked in. Oops, so you can see. His feet are tucked in. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here on this fabric. I'm going to fold it and then kind of glue it to his back so that we don't have to go around the front again. That is my plan. Kind of like upholstery. We're upholstering Uncle Knick-Knack. And I think he's enjoying it. I think he's okay. He's fine with it. Put sand in the bottom so he'll stand on his own. Oh, that's a good idea. If I was putting him not in a cabinet or under the stairs, that would be pretty spooky, actually. If you're making a haunted house, you need something spooky standing in the corner. This would do it, probably. You don't have to sculpt hands or head or anything. You just have to shape some aluminum foil, put some fabric. There you go. Spooky enough. Cut too much off. That's all right. There we go. So from the front, he's looking like so. And then we'll put the straps around and bend him into shape. I do find also with the Fabri-Tac, it builds up on the top here and it becomes really gummy. So you just constantly have to clear the top. But a lot of glues do that too. So like tacky glue. Oh, there you go. It's Addams Voice Challenge. Delphina put it up there. So if anybody else wants to try to be an Addams, that'd be awesome. I have all of Bentley House minis trying out to be an Addams character. Maybe one of us will make it. Okay, I'm just going to glue down this back piece. And there we go. Just kind of hold it in place while it takes hold. Stephanie says, I've done character voices ever since I watched Robin Williams. God bless him. That would be awesome. You should definitely do it. They want you to do a kooky or spooky voice. So it's not just, they're not just looking for voices. They're looking for some definitely Addams-y voices. And if you've heard the animated Uncle Fester voice, you know what they're looking for. Right now, out the window is the perfect scenery for Halloween movies. Mm. Is it dark and spooky? Does he fit in the Iron Maiden? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe. Zoom us out a little bit. Don't be scared, Uncle Knick-Knack. It's fine. Kind of, if there weren't so many spikes, but I guess that's the point of an Iron Maiden. But yeah, he would fit in there. But I did make, if you haven't watched that video, I did make a body shape form, and then I formed the Iron Maiden around it. So that's why he most likely fits in there, because I did a 12 scale body shape. I'm enjoying this so much, listening while I stick tiny dragon scales to masking tape for my dragon book. I watched your video Saturday, decided to make it for my Harry Potter mini bookshelf in restricted section. That's awesome. I just found my dragon book again the other day. Ara, you should film you trying out for the contest and put it on YouTube. Oh, that's a fun idea. I'll have to see. Okay. So now the back isn't so grand, but that's okay. We're not going to be seeing the back so much. But I think I kind of like this little scoop part here. I think I'll glue this down here. It's good to force fabric into doing what you want it to do. Should leave it open. Yeah, I could, move Uncle Knick-Knack around. He may enjoy some time in the Iron Maiden. All the Addams do. All right. So I'm just going to glue this down, and then we've got to make some more straps. So I'll get this fabric out, and I'll probably just make one strap so we can kind of get an idea, because we're almost probably wrap up around 5 and 5 my time, because I'll go get started feeding the family. But let's see. Excuse me, Uncle Knick-Knack. We'll get him at least one strap and a tag, so we know how he's looking. You could play a game of guess where Uncle Knick-Knack is. Oh, Uncle Knick-Knack. Just being silly, hiding all over the place. I had fun doing on Instagram, and I did it on Facebook, Where Is Thing, and I wanted to do Where Is Cousin It this week, but I ran out of time with some family projects that we had going on, so I'll have to do that. Maybe this upcoming week we'll do Where Is Cousin It. Cut out these little straps. He needs 3, so we'll cut him 3 straps. Probably won't put all 3 on, but we'll get at least 1 on. I'm not the only one that talks to the dolls. Y'all talking about Guess Who? Play the... We played Guess Who all the time. That was the game when I was young, was Guess Who. I think you should make a little voodoo doll for Wednesday, a bead for the head, and braided embroidery thread for the arms and legs. She might need a few extra dolls. She has Marie Antoinette, but she might need a few extra. Where's Uncle Knick-Knack going in the house? He might go, I don't know if y'all can see, Grandmama's kitchen. There is a hole underneath the staircase. It was in the thumbnail of this video. He might go underneath the staircase, but we'll see. Instead of Elf on the Shelf, we can play Knick-Knack on the Rack. That's going to have to be something we definitely play on Bentley House Minis. I'm going to have to remember that for when it is the holidays. Knick-Knack on the Rack. All right, so if we wrap around, so shoulders, hips, let me just wrap them up so you can get an idea. So it'll be shoulders, hips, I guess I didn't need as long a strip for the feet, but, and around the ankles, like so. So he'll end up kind of like that. And then I definitely need a little piece. Where'd my scissors go? There they are. For the tag. Might make his tag a little bit bigger. Oh, Batman would be a fun project for sure. I have quite a few Batman action figures, so wouldn't be hard. So he'd have a little tag like this. His tag's a little bit bigger. Like so. Oh, and let me show you how he bends. So I guess I won't put this on yet, but that's kind of how he'll end up. And I'll post a picture on Instagram once he's all done. And I'll also show you wherever I decide to put him in one of the Addams Family videos. So if we want to move him, I would just kind of bend the aluminum foil that's inside. So he's kind of got floppy head. And then he'd probably bend at the waist a little bit. And maybe kind of at the knees. The knees. So kind of slumped like so in the cabinet. But then of course with the straps and stuff on. So yeah, I think that's probably going to be it. I will do the straps the exact same way I did on here. And then I will do his second wardrobe when I have some time. And then I will add his little straps to him. I don't know, it might have been a good idea that I bent him a little bit before I put the straps on. But I think he's kind of cute. So anyway, that is it for today. Why is that so cute? Yeah, that's why I was like, I think he's kind of cute. But why? I don't know. He's kind of cute. Uncle Knick-Knack is so cute. And then I'd probably do the same pretty simple low-key aging on him. Maybe tap a little bit of it off. And just age him up a little bit. Are you going to make a live stream of making the wardrobe? I don't know, because I'm not quite sure if I am going to make the wardrobe. I may put him under the stairs for now, because I don't have anything really going underneath there. But it's definitely something, like if I did make a wardrobe, I might make it into a kit, and then I could make a video for the kit. But I don't know if everything else I have planned for this month, if I would have time for the wardrobe. But if I do make it, of course, anything I make for the Addams I would put it on the channel. So Mr. Body. Yep. All right. Well, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day and an amazing rest of your Thanksgiving if you're in Canada. And I will be back on Friday with a regular video. I'm going to be working this side of the house, Cousin It's room, and the conservatory. We're going to be finishing up that side of the house, and I love the conservatory, so I'm really excited about finishing that all up. Oh, the fly's back. And then the next stream, maybe. I like to say when the next stream is because I think I know, but let me see. The next stream should be on Friday the 13th, November. Woo! Unless I have to change it for some reason. But anyway, so I will see y'all then. Have an amazing day. I'm so glad y'all enjoyed it. That was really fun to make this little guy. Oh, ice chest. Someone asked me about the ice chest. I'll show you that real quick. Okay. So the ice box is pretty close to being done. I just have to finish up the last few pieces. I kept having to reprint the 3D printed pieces. But it will come with 3D printed grates and then 3D printed hinges and closures. So I had to print those to make sure that they were as good as I could get them. But now I'm happy with the 3D print file. I'm happy with the cut file for the icebox. So I'm hoping this upcoming week it should be ready to go. That's my plan. I want to get it up as fast as possible for you all who've been waiting for it. So anyway, that's the update for the icebox. I'll be trying to finish it up this week. So anyway, all right. I'll say bye for the third time. You know, in Texas, you have to say bye at least 3 times. Bye, everyone.